Hi, this is Byström. I will make a presentation for you. So let's start. So I will talk about brand and design management today. Tools for building a strong story based on who we are and who we want to be. I am specialized within the area of destination design since about 20 years. It's a field that is getting more and more attention. Design in general is becoming more popular as methodology to use when approaching various challenges and development projects. My background is within industrial design. This means a focus on product development, focusing on the user, and at the same time addressing production requirements and environmental, economical, social, and cultural perspectives. Destination design has become a tool not only for the aesthetical aspects of a destination, but also for destination development, place development, brand development and management, product development, problem solving, managing challenges, taking on wicked problems, and place innovation, and more. Destination design, from my point of view and from how I work, has a holistic approach. This is also something that has become more important when it comes to marketing and branding. When explaining destination design in the most simple way, I used to say that it is about telling a good story. This is of course very simplified, but within this explanation you can read much more. Telling a good story can be interpreted as much more multifaceted. A good story is also taking into concern the preservation of the local culture and heritage, about sustainable development, about the environment, the nature, and all. It is about regenerative development. Destination design is closely connected to storytelling, and since everything and everyone at the destination to a certain extent connects to the story, no matter if you want it or not, you very much need to have a holistic approach. The brand also depends on the experience, the lasting impression from the sum of all pieces that make up the destination. This is in general how the destination design process works. Understanding, preparing the story, people, history, the preconditions for development, context. The more time and effort that can be put on this phase, the better. Create, build up the story, focusing on who we want to be, appealing to our target audience, but also to ourselves. Implement, tell the story. Everyone need to understand and preferably buy into the story we want to tell. Bring to life, the story lives. A destination always changes. We always need to reinvent and add to the story. It is about both maintenance and further development. The interpretation of a destination and the lasting impression of the brand depends on all the touchpoints that our target audiences build their experiences upon. From the transport to and within the destination, the service and the meeting with the people involved, the food, local ingredients and dishes, the presentation, the cultural settings, the built environment, architecture and building styles, materials, the nature, the landscapes, the access to nature, activities and experiences that are tailored to various user needs, local made products, the stories and people behind, the proudness. And when it comes to experiences, don't forget to consider all our senses. The combination of senses can elevate the experience and make it unforgettable, preferably in a good way. The brand and the interpretation of the brand is built up by soft values. The hard factors are experienced in different ways. Expensive or cheap, accessible and welcoming or inhospitable and difficult, positive or negative. It all depends on how it is packaged and how the service is. And this will lead to various emotional values and feelings. These emotional values and feelings are what the brand consists from. So, it is about expressions, impressions, and lasting impressions. The expression are often connected to the corporate identity, the visual expression of the brand. This, together with everything else connected to the organization or the destination, results in many impressions by our target audiences. Much of the interpretation of a brand is made unconsciously, and the image of the brand is what we remember about the brand over time. The brand image can also be described as the summary of all impressions, the lasting impressions. By turning it around and start from the end, we can also get an understanding of what we need to prioritize to strengthening the brand. So the conclusion is that the brand consists of much more than what we see. It is not only about the visual identity. We need to think holistically. This is even more true for a destination. We need to work together and deliver together. The experience is never stronger than the weakest link in the chain. The time is always changing. We need to adapt, understand the preconditions, be proactive, and see the opportunities. Branding, in this case for destinations, is about working methodically with destination design and development from a set strategy. We need together ask ourselves, what do we want? Also, what do we not want? Start by understanding the content of the destination. Analyze and understand how the destination is communicated today. Agree on what kind of destination you want to be. And understand your target audiences. What do they feel? What do you want them to feel and remember? One exercise can be to work with metaphors. Make an image board from the present state of the destination and an image board for how you want your destination to be like in the future. When setting the goal for the destination, I think it's very important to build upon our own values, to build upon the emotional side of the connection between the residents and our community. That should be one of the most important focuses to keep in mind. We want a flourishing community. This is positive for everyone, for visitors, for residents, and for the entrepreneurs on destination. Who are our target audiences? This is of course a very important question when it comes to branding. Don't only look at who are the present largest target audiences, but consider who would be the most wanted target audiences. Also, do not think only about demography when prioritizing target audiences, but consider who would be the best kind of target audiences in connection to the kind of destination you want to be. Think about lifestyle, behavior, values, and such factors. Analyze the journey of your target audiences and define the touch points. When doing this, it can be helpful to make customer journey maps. Analyze the journey through your destination before, during, and after the visit. List best memories and worst memories. Mark the touch points, situations, connections to the destination during the journey that are important for the experience. This template is something I often use when I'm working with destinations, but there are also, of course, other canvases. I often also make customer journey maps for new residents and for existing residents to also understand the everyday life and the experience to live at the place. Before any kind of destination design takes place, brand development or market communication, I recommend that first make a brand platform. This can become kind of a filter to evaluate if the material produced are brand on or not. The brand platform can of course be adjusted along the way. This is a schematic image of how I used to set up a basic brand platform. As you can see, the bottom line describes the lasting impression, what we want our target audience should think about our destination. This brand platform is also made up as a template. Except the lasting impressions, the brand trigger, there are also brand vision, purpose, mission, position, emotional and rational promises, values, and personality. I will not go through the destination design process very thoroughly in this presentation, but here is at least an introduction. First of all, it is focusing in understanding the challenge, the preconditions, and who to join the process. This is followed by a thorough exploration phase, inventory of the destination, deep diving into history, context, and other aspects. The reflection phase is about setting up a strategy based upon all the analyzed material and the inputs from stakeholders. Next phase is about creation, the development of the brand, the connected material, manifests, development guidelines, and more. Last phase is about action, to actually get to the implementation together with tools for further management. This is just one process. There are many other examples of design processes. This is made up as a double diamond, a way to explain the design process by the British Design Council. First diamond is about the problem space, to discover and define the problem or the challenge. The second diamond is the solution space, to develop and deliver. The design process is, however, and shouldn't be strictly linear from problem to solution, but is more iterative between problem space and solution space, adjusting and detailing while learning more during the process. When developing a destination brand, the inspiration can come from everywhere in the destination. You find the inspiration in clothing, design, and built environment. Explore interesting activities and offerings. Food experiences, existing and potential. Place innovation. Dig in the soil where you stand. What opportunities awaits? My first experience of destination design was in Åre, 2005. A new visual identity was made and a new sign program was developed. The city's association collaborated to develop the town center. New buildings with a style that contributed to the brand image was made. And through the concept Åre all year round, new products were developed as downhill bicycle. Graphic guidelines for signs, construction and lighting was made. I work with destination design, primarily in the Nordic countries. One of my most recent projects was with Nuuk. And as you can see, Greenland has become very popular right now. The process was very much connected to the local community, the residents and companies in Nuuk, and coordinated by the local DMO Visit Nuuk. The strategic brand documents with guidelines were made in close collaboration. We made pictograms to be used on maps and signposts inspired by Greenlandic visual expression. The signs have not yet been produced, but this is how we designed them, using local materials and adapted to the climate. Furthermore, some examples of produced content connected to the visual identity. And of course, the happy staff. Finally, I will tell you briefly about Österland, also as an example. The process started in late 2014, but the first workshop was already in 2012 in connection to the conference Make It Happen. I'm not going into the process today, but it should be mentioned that it consisted of an extensive collaborative process where a lot of residents, local tourist companies and regional development organization participated. The process resulted in a new destination organization, a completely new destination brand, guidelines, online presence, sign language, marketing material, and much more. The concept "Think outside the circle" is a tagline that means many things for Österland as being a destination on the periphery, thinking different, leaving the beaten paths to experience Österland and more. The guidelines describes the brand platform, the visual guidelines for the brand, signage design program, focus areas with manifestos, target audiences, and the profiles, communication language, and more. Here is some of the content in the brand platform. The target audiences, the focus areas, and the manifests. Photographic guidelines, strategy for content creation all year around. Web, destination magazine, and an online hospitality course with Österland knowledge for seasonal workers. Trade show material, new buildings and signs. Wall paintings in the airport and ferry terminal. Photographs documenting the local life and experiences. Communicating international influences, openness and acceptance, inspiration. Creativity, innovation, creative joy, life on the countryside, freedom, happy upbringing, identity, dreams. And this is in 2017 at Egilstader Airport, when the project was inaugurated officially and implemented in all municipalities of Österland. A joint ownership like this is one of the strongest factors for a destination brand. This assures everyone feel connected to it and are using it. Finally, for those interested, there are these reports to take part of that are documenting the whole destination development process of Österland. Tack!